Thank you for joining me again. Let's get all started and warmed up. All right, we're going to start with a red spring on and come into quadruped facing the office, which I know is hard when you're looking at the TV, so I promise I'll talk clearly. So knees down the end of the carriage so you've got enough space, and hands just at the front. It's a nice long body, and we're going to start here with a cat and a cow. So breathe in as you dip the spine and lift the chin, and breathe out as you round up the other way. Start off nice and gently, just to get the body all warmed up and the spine warmed up. And as you feel like you're warming up and loosening up, just start to exaggerate the movement. So by the end, I want you to be getting a really nice stretch each way. And really enjoying it too. These are really nice to start or finish your day with. But we've got a couple more. And let's set halfway between the two, and we're going to swing our hips from side to side. So getting that little side crunch, no movement through the chest at all, just swinging your hips up to one side, getting a nice little squeeze, and then swing your hips to the other side. Chest stays nice and still, no movement at all through the chest. And the rest of your spine is nice and long. Swinging those hips from side to side. Come back into the center, and now let's draw some shoulder rolls. Now I don't mind here whether the body's moving for your shoulder rolls or whether you find moving the elbows and bending the elbows easier. Either, but as long as you're getting some really nice movement through the shoulder girdle. Let's change direction. Really start to exaggerate that movement. Good. Let's set halfway between the two again. So nice broad chest and lengthen the shoulders down the spine. We'll come into a thread the needle. So bring the right fingertip to the ceiling as you breathe in. We're going to breathe out as we scoop right in underneath. We're going to bring our shoulder all the way down to the carriage here, just on the first one, and we're going to hold this first one here. Put a little bit of pressure into your left hand to open up the chest. Good, and then bring that right hand back up onto the carriage. Let's do the same with the left. Fingertip to ceiling as we breathe in. And breathe out, reach your fingertip all the way through so you come down to your shoulder. And holding here. Bit of pressure into that right hand to give you a little bit more of a twist. And enjoy that rotation. And coming back up. Good work. Now we're going to bring our hands onto the carriage and our feet up onto our foot plate, lengthening out into plank. And into rockets or Superman arms. So breathe out as you press the arms forward, and breathe in as the hands come back in underneath your shoulders. Breathe out as we press forward, and in as the hands come back in underneath the shoulders. Stay long and straight through the body, with nothing else moving, and try to keep your shoulders lengthened down your spine. So you're pushing your hands and your elbows forward, but your shoulders are not coming up towards your ears. 3, 2, 1. Bring your hands back in underneath your shoulders, and now tucks. Breathe in as you travel backwards, and breathe out as you press forward. When you're breathing out, you're drawing your tummy deep to your spine and gliding out. 3, 2, and last one. Well done. Touch your knees down and let the carriage come back to the stoppers. Just give the body a little bit of a wiggle and a little bit of movement, whatever feels nice here. And then we're going to set in quadruped, getting ready to start our session. So knees are hip width apart, hands are shoulder width apart, broad chest, and we're going to bring our right heel up onto the bar, starting here with a leg press. We breathe out as we press, and in as we bend. Nothing else is moving. The trunk stays nice and still. All the way out. Every now and then, just take a look down and make sure that your left hip is over your left knee. I don't want that hip to start to hang out to the side, which it will on some of you. If that's the case, I want you to feel like you're trying to push your knee out, and that's going to suck that hip in. Don't actually let the knee move, but feel as though you're trying to push it out. You'll feel a certain muscle in your bottom. Come on. 2 more. As we come back down to the stoppers, I want you to bring the ball of your foot up onto the bar now, and we're going to do the same. Leg press here. Breathing out as we press, and in as we bend. Keeping everything else nice and still, and once again, have a look down at that knee every now and then, and make sure that your hip, that left hip, isn't hanging right out to the side. 2. On the last one, stretch all the way out and hold. Let your heel sink over the bar, then press up onto the ball of the foot. Now, you'll notice that my carriage is moving as we do this. That's because the rest of the body is really strong, okay? So the rest of the body is staying really stable, really strong, and it's not changing. Couple more to go. Really exaggerate this movement each way. 4, 3, 2, and last one. I want you to hold here. So you're right up on the ball of the foot at the back. Your back knee is straight and your body is solid and strong. I want you to push your knee that's on the carriage forward and then let it come back in underneath the hip. Now, I only want your hands here because they're balancing you. I don't want any pressure with the hand. I want your front of your hip on this side to be doing all the work. Nothing else. So don't push forward with the arms. It's pulling the hip forward. Back leg stays long and straight. Everything else is nice and strong. Couple more. 3, 2, and last one. Well done. Sinking all the way back down. All right, we're going to, I've got a couple of options here for this one. We're going to switch our spring down to a blue. So a blue spring on. Now we're going to come up into a plank. So there's 2 options. You can either have your hands on the carriage and your feet on the foot plate, or bring your hands up onto the shoulder pads and your feet up onto the bar. I want you to hold in plank and then come into tucks. Now every time you push or lengthen your legs, I want you to be drawing your tummy deeper to the spine. Breathe in as you bend, breathe out as you press. In as you bend, out as you press. Now, if this is getting really tough and you feel like you're losing control, I want you to add a yellow. If you feel unstable and a little bit worried, add a yellow. I don't want you to do this if you're not feeling confident. And remember your option of having your feet down and your hands down. Breathe out as we press, in as we bend. Out as we press, in as we bend. 3, 2, and last one. Good work. You're going to bring one knee up to your chest, turn in underneath, come back to center. Turn in underneath, come back to center. Now, you can do this with your feet and your hands down. It looks exactly the same. Knee to chest, turn, back to center. Turn, back to center. It doesn't matter which option you're taking. Either way, you've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Well done. Let the carriage come all the way back in. We're going to bring our right foot forward now onto the headrest and our back foot down on the carriage. And we're going to switch back to a red spring, Back to a red spring. And we're in our half kneel with our right foot on the foot plate. Nice and tall in our kneel here. We're going to come into a chest opener. I want the top of your foot and your shin pressed firm. That's going to help you hold the hip forward and stay nice and upright. Breathe out as we chest open. In as our hands come forward. Now you're feeling really nice and tall, all the way up through the neck. And as you pull, you're feeling those shoulder blades squeeze together. Really anchor your front foot nice and firm onto the headrest. Heel, big toe, little toe, nice and strong into the headrest. And now a wide arm opener. Again, that focus is on anchoring the legs. That's going to help you stay nice and strong here. Nice and stable. Nothing else is moving. Anchor the ribs, and a couple more to go. Three, 2, and last one. Good work. Coming down. We're going to take a long sit with our feet through the headrest, sitting our bottom right back on the carriage. And we're here for a bicep curl. So we're going to half roll down and bicep curl. Now your elbows are nice and high and your chest is nice and broad. Your body's not moving at all. It's just those arms. On the next one, as your hands come forward, I want you to roll up, sit nice and tall, add a bicep curl, roll halfway down, hold, add a bicep curl, roll back up, add a bicep curl, roll back down, add a bicep curl. So between your roll up and your roll down, you've got a bicep curl in each position. And I want you to really exaggerate that spinal movement and the spinal position. So So at the top, you are right up on your bottom bones and you are long and tall through the spine. At the bottom, you are round and your chest is open. Tall and round. Got a couple more to go. One more in each position. And come all the way back up into sitting. We're going to shuffle our bottom all the way forward. Come down onto our back. Legs up in tabletop. Holding chest lift for a lateral raise. Breathe out as the arms open. Breathe in as the hands come back by our side. If this position here gets too much for the neck, or between this and the next variation that we do, I want you to spin around and laying on your back coming into our normal arm pulls, okay? Remembering that our normal arm pulls are on a red and a blue, whereas here we're just on a red. Keep that chest nice and high. On the next one, we're going into an overhead raise. So same position, chest nice and high, raising the arms up overhead. Now, I don't mind how high your arms are going, as long as your chest lift stays nice and high. If you get to a certain point and you lose the height of your chest lift, I want you to stop. We've got 3, 2, and last one. Well done. Don't think we're going anywhere. Everyone's favourite. Bring your feet up through the pulleys. Pulleys are over the top of the knees. Hands behind your head. Here for a chest lift. Instant regrets. Come up and hold. Now you can either come into a single leg extension or a double. Either way, as you lengthen one leg, I then want you to pull the opposite knee towards the chest. If you're doing doubles, then you're tucking and lengthening. Tucking and lengthening. Remember to breathe, and I don't mind which variation. Tabletop. Bring your arms around and we're here for hundreds. Breathe in, 2, 3, and out, 2, 3. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, the burn. All right, we're going to reach up and grab our pulleys off. And coming back up into sitting. We're going to find our long sit here again. This time we're right up on our bottom bones rather than our half roll down. So sitting nice and tall, and we just have our wide arm chest opener. Now breathing out as your chest open. In as the hands come forward. Four, three, two, and last one. Well done. Hang your pulleys back up. And we're going to swing back around into our quadruped. Now remember, in our quadruped position, our knees are right down the end of the carriage and our hands are in underneath the shoulders. That way we're nice and stable and we've got enough space for our body. We should still have a red spring on, just double check, and we'll go into our leg press with our heel on the bar. Keep your spine nice and long. Breathe out as you press and in as you bend. Keeping your movement nice and smooth. We've got a couple more to go. As we come back to the stoppers, I want you to bring a ball of your foot up onto the bar. And same thing, leg press. So the spine's nice and long. And again, every now and then, I want you to check and make sure that your right hip is over the top of that right knee, okay? So that it's not hanging out to the side and your body's nice and stacked. So hip stacked over knee, shoulders stacked over hands. Breathe out as we press and breathe in as we bend. Out as we press, in as we bend. Press all the way out and hold. So you're straight through your leg, straight and open through your hip. Let your heel sink over and then press back up onto the balls of the foot. Keep it nice and smooth. And again, stay nice and strong through the body so that the carriage is moving with you. Really start to exaggerate the movement to get a really nice lengthening of your heel over the bar. Press right up onto the ball of the foot. Again, double check that your right hip is over the top of your right knee. 3, 2, we're going to press up and hold on the last one and come into those knee tucks. So tuck that knee in underneath. Now remember, this comes from the leg and not from the arms. I want your arms to only be resting there to help balance you. They're not doing any of the tucking. Let the knee come back in underneath the hip and then push it forward. Push it forward. Having your ball of the foot up on the bar at the back is going to keep your hips nice and aligned. So push the hip forward and you'll get a nice little bit of work through the front of the hip. Good, not through the arms, they're just resting there for balance. 4, 3, 2, and last one. Sink all the way back down. Good work. Let's just have a little bit of a stretch here in child's pose. We're going to come up and change our spring back to a blue. So with a blue spring on, going to bring our hands either onto the shoulder pads or onto the carriage again into our plank variations. So your feet can be on the bar or they can be on the foot plate. We've been in this position before. I want you to try and do the same one. So I don't mind which variation, but we're into tucks again. Breathe out as you press, in as you bend, out as you press, in as you bend. Remember that option is to have your feet down on the foot plate, and you can still do the same thing. Take whichever option is good for you. Also remember you've got that yellow spring there if you need it. So if it's getting just a little bit iffy and you're feeling a little bit unstable, add your yellow spring. 4, 3, 2, last one, you're coming out and holding. Bring your left knee up to your chest and add your little rotation. So the knee stays hugged into the chest. You just rotate in underneath and come back to center. Rotate in underneath and come back to center. This looks exactly the same no matter what position you're in. So if you're up here, then you're just getting your rotation and back to center. Rotation and back to center for 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Well done. And let that carriage come all the way back in. Let's change our spring back to a red. Red spring on and in half kneel. This time our left foot is on the headrest and the right shin is on the carriage. Really anchor that left foot. Same with the right shin. Anchor it down and come into our chest opener. You're long and tall through the spine, but remember to keep the connection between your right hip and your ribs. Breathe out as we pull, and in as the hands come forward. Feeling that broadening of the chest every time you pull back, but keeping that connection between your right hip and your ribs so that we're not getting a big arch through the back. Staying nice and upright. Breathe out as we chest open, and in as the hands come forward. Let's go into a wide opener. Remembering all the same things. Good. Stay long and tall, looking straight ahead. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Well done. And coming back down. onto our knees with our hands on the bar, and we're still on a red spring here. We're going to push our legs back so that we're in our upstretch-like position, okay? And we're going to push back, take the elbows out to the side as our chest comes over the bar, then keep the arms straight as we come into our upstretch. So we've got a press, and then we have an upstretch. A press, and then an upstretch. Good. After you've done a few, I then want you to drop down to a blue. Now a blue is going to be a little less challenging on the arms and more challenging on the abs. But same variations. Press, upstretch, press, upstretch. Couple more. And upstretch. Good. Now I want you to jump up onto the balls of your feet into plank, and we're into push-ups. Elbows nice and wide, and push-ups. Now remember, you always have an option to come down onto the knees with these push-ups. Option's always there. And as always, if you're feeling a little bit unstable and a little bit vulnerable, add a yellow. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Well done. Let that carriage come in. Okay, stretching back out into plank, we're going to go plank to pike. Now if you want a little bit more of a challenge here, I want you to put a yellow spring on instead of the blue. But I'm going to warn you, we've got a couple of variations to come. Breathe in as you flatten to plank, and breathe out as you raise to pike. Remember with pike, straight legs, straight back. On the next one, as your left leg comes in pike, I want you to raise your right leg out the back. So we've got a single leg pike. Good. Now remember, with that leg that's hovering out the back, I don't want you to really push it, because as you push it, the hip's going to open, you're going to end up here. I don't want that. I want your hips nice and parallel with the floor. So I'd rather you take a little bit less movement and do it really, really well. Last one on this side. As you press back into plank, I want you to switch sides. Straight up into your single leg pike. This time your left leg lifting and hovering out the back. Breathe into plank and breathe out to pike. Into plank and out to pike. Keep it up. Got a few more to go. You guys who dropped to a yellow, well done. And well done to everyone else for keeping on going. Let's go 4, 3, 2, and we've got one more. Well done. Okay, add your yellow spring, red spring on, sorry. So a red and a blue, and have a lay down on our back. Balls of the feet on the bar. Now I want you just to hover your hips slightly off the carriage and come into our hover press. Breathe out as we press and in as we bend.
press all the way out, I want you to lift your hips up into bridge. Come all the way back to the stoppers. Come back down to a hover. So we've got our circle bridge. Really exaggerate the movement each way and keep it nice and flowing. One more. Change direction. Hips come up, push out, come down and hover on the way in. Up, out, down and hover on the way in. Keep those hips really nice and high as you press the legs out. Then come down. Hips high as you press those legs out. And then come back down. We've got 3, 2, and last one. And coming back down. Good. Grab hold of your pulleys. I'm going to stack one hand on top of the other. Bring the hands down in front of the knees. Legs into tabletop for our rotation or pendulums. Breathe into center and breathe out as the knees drop down to one side. Breathe into center and breathe out as the hips drop down. We're just going to let the legs rock from side to side. And when you're ready, I want you to add a single or a double leg extension. Up and over, and then single or double leg extend. Breathing out as they drop down one side, single or double leg extend. One more to each side. And coming back to center. Split the hands. And we've got an arm pull. Legs in tabletop and bring your arms down by your side. Add a tricep, so arm pull, tricep, arm pull. Arm pull, tricep, arm pull. I think I messed that up. Add a single or double leg extension. Pause and hold the leg extension while you tricep. And add a chest lift. Hold the chest lift and the leg extension while you tricep. going to come back up and we're here with hundreds to finish. Your option is legs in tabletop or legs extended, and we're here for 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ugh. Nicely done. Good work. Cross one ankle over the opposite thigh and sink right down for a nice glute stretch. Keep your pelvis anchored nice and firm on the carriage so that you get that nice stretch. Switch legs. Come up into sitting on the carriage with one red spring. Balls of the feet on the bar and hands on the bar as well. Just straightening out the legs for a nice stretch. Feel that nice stretch up through the backs of the legs. If you can, let those heels sink a little further under the bar to get a bit more in the calf as well as the hemi. Coming all the way in for a butterfly stretch. So feet together. Knees nice and wide and feeling a nice stretch in those inner thighs. I want you to try and sit up nice and tall. Sit up right up on your bottom bones here. With a really nice tall spine and a broad chest. Good work. Let's cross our legs. Take a nice deep breath in, arms split up overhead, and turn to one side. Put your hand on your knee and the other hand in behind you, just to give you a nice little bit of extra stretch. Arms overhead as you breathe in, and breathe out the other way. Same thing, just a little bit of overpressure. Come back to center. Let the arms drop down by your side and take one more. Nice deep breath in and out as the arms come down. Well done. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again soon.